Purina believes no one should have to make the impossible choice between their own safety and their pets. But nearly half of domestic abuse survivors delay leaving because they can't bring their pets with them. Through the Purple Leash Project, Purina is helping create more pet-friendly domestic violence shelters so survivors and their pets can escape and heal together. Visit Purina.com/purple to learn more.
This episode is brought to you by Nespresso. Gift magical mornings with Nespresso Virtuo Pop. Compact and stylish, Virtuo Pop is made to meet every morning coffee craving. From espresso to coffee, hot or iced, at the click of a button. And celebrate the season with Nespresso's limited edition coffee flavors. Sweet almond and hibiscus, cinnamon and candied tamarind, and festive double espresso. Magic in the making. Shop the holiday gift collection exclusively at Nespresso.com.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed's sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
The family that vacations together stays together. At least, that was the plan. Except now, the dastardly desk clerk is saying he can't confirm your connecting rooms.
Wait, what?
That's right, ma'am. You have rooms 201 and 709.
No, we cannot be 5 floors away from our kids.
The doors have double locks. They'll be fine.
When you want connecting rooms confirmed before you arrive, it matters where you stay.
Welcome to Hilton. I see your connecting rooms are already confirmed.
Hilton, for the stay.
Coming up on this week's Course of Life podcast, recapping golf headlines from the other side of the planet, plus a big announcement regarding the PGA Tour in Austin, Texas as well. And we get into a crazy football weekend, all sorts of college football gossip and headlines, seats that recline and seats that don't on planes, a concert recap, what we're watching and tuned into. And this week's guest, a special one, a former high school classmate of mine, Shivani Dave. She is now embarked on an awesome stand-up comedy career that's taken her some pretty cool places. A really interesting chat with her and her experiences in the world of comedy. Plus, we're talking pumpkin foods and all sorts of seasonal stuff. And it's all coming up on a loaded Course of Life podcast that starts now.
Hello, interwebs, and welcome to Course of Life. I'm Michael. He's Alex. And Alex, let's head to your town of Austin, Texas, because there was big news that just broke this morning on a Monday about the new title sponsor and the brand new tournament returning to Austin, Texas in November of 2026.
Yeah, huge announcement. You remember me constantly bemoaning the departure of the Dell Match Play in 2023, and I was dying for a replacement. I was wondering in what form it was going to look like. I had no idea it was going to reemerge as a fall series event in November at a resort course sponsored by golf content creators. But here we are in 2025. We were talking about, Whataburger or Yeti being the sponsor. Mm-hmm. And lo and behold, the guys over at Good have stepped in and quite literally bought a PGA Tour event. So the Good Championship is going to be a PGA Tour event in my hometown here in Austin, Texas. Interesting headline, and shows you kind of the direction that the golf tournaments are going as well, too.
Yeah, it's going to be a very different event. No match play, just good old boring strokes. Yeah. And it'll be at the Omni Barton Creek Resort and Spa, a Tom Fazio design.
Yep, they've had the PGA Club Pro Championship there before. They had a mini tour event there back in the day. I think there was a women's event there at 1.2, so it's a familiar host. It's right near downtown. And yeah, the good angle is going to make it very interesting. Yes, it's going to be, quote unquote, the boring 72-hole stroke play format. But I think what I'm going to look forward to is everything around the event outside of the golf, because Good's in the content game. They're in our world and stratosphere. They're in a city like Austin. I imagine they're going to pull some interesting names and maybe, hopefully, get a couple of guys that have a connection to Austin, Texas to play in the tournament. Looking at you, Jordan Spieth, Scotty Scheffler. directly in the eyes. So we'll see. They're gonna. It's gonna take some heavy lifting to get them there, but something to look forward to here in the next year for golfers in Texas.
Do you think that they're going to try to make this golf but louder?
I am interested to see. Like, I'm sure there's going to be a party hole. They're gonna deck out a good party hole with all sorts of volume and stuff like that. But I don't know. Are they going to go for like a full format change in the way the spectator experience is? I doubt it the first time around. But again, I think it's just going to be the stuff around the course and outside, the installations, different type of things that you can check out when you're there spectating that complement the tournament, which I'll be looking forward to seeing.
All right. And then, of course, Alex will be there covering the event.
For sure. Yeah, I know. It's a second week in November, like you mentioned. So that's good weather here. We're still 90 degrees, by the way. So maybe it'll be in the 80s by the time that rolls around next year.
Maybe. We'll see. The PGA Tour this weekend is back in action for the FedEx Cup Fall. They're at a Tom Weiskopf design for the Bank of Utah Championship back there at Black Desert Resort. Known for being that course that looks like Mars.
Yeah, golf on Mars. Anna Balazs, former guest, coined that term because the LPGA goes there too, as well too. Mm-hmm. Yeah, literally, like I'm talking, no joke, black, gigantic lava rocks, like in between holes, cart paths, everything. It's just like it's quite a spectacle. This is one of those weeks just to tune in for the scenery, and you really don't even have to pay attention to the golf. It's just the scenery. Just hit me with the drone shots, get the blimp there. Give me the overhead cameras and enjoy the scenery in Utah.
There you go. All right, let's turn over to the LPGA and head out to South Korea for the BMW Ladies Championship. And it was the end of a 5-year drought for Korean Seo Young Kim, winning by 4 strokes, really just kind of cruising to victory.
Yeah.
And it's her first win since 2020. And her 13th career title.
Yeah, that surprised me. Seeing her name as a winner it was not surprising, but I can't believe it's been 5 years. She's leaderboard relevant. She's shown up and had some good weeks recently, but getting over the top and getting that win, it shows you how difficult it is for someone who's already won a dozen times to get number 13. But I feel like that's a very quiet 13 wins for Seo Young Kim. Again, it's a name we hadn't heard win in a few years, so that might be the reason. But you start to be up on that list when you're up next to names like Stacey Lewis in terms of like LPGA all-time wins. That's when you've had yourself a career. So impressive job getting win number 13.
Very impressive indeed.
And the tour, Michael, right now, they're all just Instagram stories of the most unique Asian food. Everyone, all the players are having a lot of fun right now, stretching their culinary limits, new countries in Asia and new experiences. So definitely follow the LPGA players right now. We're having the time of their life over there in the Asia swing.
Let me just remind the LPGA that we're big fans of the game and what they've done. And I'd be more than willing to take 2 weeks out of my life for a trip to Asia with the tour to eat food and check out the culture there. And, just give us a call.
Full immersion. I like that. Like our version of Anthony Bourdain, no reservations, but make it golf. I love that.
I'm not as mean as Anthony Bourdain.
Love that guy.
All right, let's switch over and keep going around the world. Let's go to New Delhi in India for the DP World Tour's India Championship. And we don't usually talk about the India Championship. In fact, I'll be honest, I didn't even know this was a DP World event, but it's not surprising. And the main reason we're talking about it is because Tommy Fleetwood is on a heater. He's had some of the best couple months winning the FedEx Cup, winning the Ryder Cup and being the top point getter for the European team, and now winning his first win of the year on the DP World Tour at the India Championship.
Yeah, finally got it over the hump at a new event here. That's why there's not too much context. So there's been tournaments all around India for a long time, but this is going to be hopefully a stable home for the DP World Tour in one of the most populous countries in the world. So makes sense that they had the event here. Got a lot of big names for the first go around. Rory was there and had a decent week himself. But yeah, Tommy getting it done in another country. This guy wins all over. He finally checked off the US PGA Tour win, the FedEx Cup, and another one to cap the year here. And he said he was most excited to win with his son there. His little son, Frankie, said, he'd never been there for a win where Dad won. He could run on the green, so he finally had that opportunity on Sunday.
Yep. So pretty awesome for Tommy being able to celebrate with his son, Frankie, and everything. And it moves Fleetwood from number 94 to number 25 in the Race to Dubai standings in the DP World Tour. Means he's now eligible for the Abu Dhabi Championship and the season-ending Tour Championship in Dubai. Now, wouldn't that be something if he then wins the DP Tour Championship?
Oh, the double. Yeah, I feel like I'm going to say Rory's done that. He's probably done that, but I don't think anyone else has. I don't think so. So that would be quite a win. And those
impressive.
Season enders, those pay out nice. So
yeah, there you go. So that's what's going on in the world of golf. With all that travel going on between the LPGA and the DP World Tour and everything, I'm sure a lot of them are flying in planes, Alex. And I know you found something rather interesting about air travel that we need to talk about.
Well, we've been on this beat for a long time. There's a lot of air travel going on in the world of golf right now. And I just saw a headline that grabbed my attention. WestJet Airline. You ever flown WestJet Airlines? You know
I
about
did.
that
I
airline?
flew WestJet coming back from my Alaskan cruise, 2 legs on WestJet from Vancouver to Calgary and then Calgary down to Atlanta.
Nice. Okay. Well, they're trying out something new. I don't know if this is going to be the wave of the future, but I'm curious what your thoughts on this headline were. WestJet, they're going to be rolling out a plane, a line of planes where I don't know what the exact numbers are on split, but I believe a majority of the seats will be at a fixed recline, meaning they cannot be reclined. However, there will be a specific section of seats that are all reclinable that you can opt into for a little extra, a little premium seating, guarantee recline. Everybody's reclining in that section, I imagine. What are your thoughts on the pay for reclining seat section on the plane?
It's just, how can we in this capitalist collapsing society that we live in continue to separate the haves and the have-nots?
Yeah, this is another long list of headlines on the lineage narrative of if you can't agree on something, let's just go further away from each other and not fight. So all these reclining people, we're going to put them all over there so they can do all the reclining. Interesting rollout. I'll be curious to see how popular this is. And if this is actually something that other airlines try, but just taking note that it's on the radar now.
I would think it's not going to be popular, but people are still going to pay and other airlines are going to do it.
Yes, I think, whether it be just a row or two or a few or an entire section, it'll be interesting to see if it does develop.
I will say I can definitely see this happening more on the smaller, like commuter jets, your flights that are under 2 hours. I could see this, but if you're on a like a 4-hour flight and you can't recline, already bad enough. You're on a big metal tube hurtling through the sky.
Indeed. So. Well, the debate rolls on. We'll be on the beat as the updates come through, and we'll get in touch with WestJet PR and see what their thoughts were behind the decision.
Yep.
So.
This weekend, all the winter sports are starting up. Hockey, basketball.
Yes, NBA's back
all that
this week.
Fun stuff. It was the opening weekend for the Savannah Ghost Pirates, the minor league hockey team here in Savannah.
I always love a good minor league hockey experience.
Happen to have great seats for opening night. Front row of the balcony, center ice was fantastic. Could see everything.
Okay.
And saw some of the worst officiating known to man, never seen before on the ice.
And that's interesting because I don't really take you as a high referee official complaining type. You're pretty low on that scale.
Well,
so for you to mention this, it must have been just atrocious.
There were numerous interference calls that were not called. There was maybe some borderline boarding going on that wasn't called.
Was it fixed on one side or was it just bad
yes,
calls both
it was
ways?
all. It's funnily enough, if you look at the statistics, you'll see that the Ghost Pirates received the most penalties and minutes in the box. However, it did feel like it was the visiting Norfolk Admirals and their brothers in black and white stripes against the Ghost Pirates.
Wow.
And one particular incident had a Savannah player pinned to the boards by a Norfolk player. The puck was nowhere near them anymore.
I love that.
And there was a referee literally right next to them. And they just kind of looked at the ref, and the ref was like, oh, whatever, keep going.
Wow. Play on. It sounds like Norfolk drove the ref down from Virginia. Yeah. And he had 100. Yeah. He had 100 on Norfolk to win that game tonight. It's clear.
Something was going on there. What was rather interesting, also the referees didn't allow any fighting. Not a single one. And look, I know that we don't want a lot of fighting in the game. You got to let at least one happen, right?
Isn't that the rules? It's kind of like a hallmark of going to a minor league hockey game is it's a little loosey-goosey, and there's always one good altercation that we cheer for.
It was very chipper throughout the game. But I will say, and surprisingly, the Ghost Pirates, who looked rather lazy on the ice. They were not fighting for the puck. They weren't finishing the play. What is it? Let Quinnipiac coach Ron Pecknold says, just win the battle or something like that.
Yes.
We were not even fighting the battle.
They weren't even fighting the battle. Okay.
And yet somehow we still forced overtime and lost in overtime 4-3.
An eventful night with the Ghost Pirates.
I will say, sudden death overtime, 3-on-3 hockey. Oh my God, we could just need this all the time. Stop having 5 guys on the ice and let's just do 3-on-3 hockey.
Such a great move. Yeah, I appreciate seeing that when it gets to that in the NHL as well too. Good stuff. Fun weekend.
So there you go. And then we lost the next game of the season in a shootout. So
long season, a lot of time.
Long season, long weekend for the Ghost Pirates. Hockey season's here, everybody. So there it is.
Nice.
All right, let's switch over to Tuned In and share what we're tuning into outside of the world of sports. It's October, Alex. That means spooky movies, quote unquote, spooky movies.
For sure.
So I was flipping through HBO Max the other day and trying to find something to watch and stumbled upon Scooby Doo, the early 2000s live action.
Oh, interesting. Boy.
And what I said was, as I got to it, I was like, I don't want to watch this. And then I let the trailer run. And then my wife looked up and went, oh, Scooby Doo, you should put that on.
Wow. The moment you disengaged, she was in.
It was almost as bad as the officiating in the Ghost Pirates game.
Oh, man. Wow. Okay.
It's pretty deplorable. It's pretty bad. I don't know when the last time was that you saw this horrific film set to celluloid. But it's
don't remember at all.
It's not great. It's not great. A lot of plot holes, a lot of bad acting, just a lot of stupidity, and a cameo by Sugar Ray.
Oh my, Mark McGrath? Wow.
Yeah. And the whole band performing.
Oh my God, the whole band.
Yeah.
Jeez.
The whole band. Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't have that one on my cards. Wow.
No.
Perfect pop 2K transition to my weekend, last weekend. Saw a concert, long time in the making. The Jonas Brothers with an opener from the All American Rejects too. Remember them? Dirty Little Secret back in the day.
Oh yeah,
that was kind of cool. Yep. Yeah. So All American Rejects came on, and by the way, the lead singer for the All American Rejects, big time, one of those guys who's on a crusade about how concert tickets are way too expensive. He was actively making fun of the people in front, claiming that they got the tickets from daddy's money. He was repeatedly like shouting out the cheap seats, which is obviously me because we're obviously up top because we can't afford stuff down low. So I did appreciate that angle. But yes, he was very active about that crusade for sure. And then the Jonas Brothers came on, nice full set. They did the solo stuff. They did the group stuff. But Michael, they always have a guest act, kind of a surprise, really hard to predict, kind of comes out of nowhere. Mm-hmm. And this time was a Pop 2K singer who I hadn't heard from in a long time. I last saw him perform at the halftime of a Boston Celtics game in 2003, for reference.
Oh, my goodness.
It's been a while since I could say this, but 22 years later, the Jonas Brothers brought out Gavin DeGraw. Remember that name?
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, that's right. Gavin DeGraw comes right out in a Texas Longhorn shirt. He quickly says, this is the song that paid off my college loans. And then he goes right into, I don't want to be anything. That's a classic Pop 2K song. Exit stage left. It was a 3-minute cameo, but a random cameo from Gavin DeGraw at the Jonas Brothers concert.
You know, those expensive seats that the All-American Rejects hate, that's what paid for Gavin DeGraw to show up.
Probably, yes, in a roundabout way. Yes, correct. So fun times at the Moody Center, always a great place to see a show, indeed. That was my tuned in for this past weekend.
There you go. Let's get to the turn in this week's guest. And Alex, this one's a very personal connection for you, someone that you knew from back in the day.
Indeed. Yeah, this is an interesting roundabout guest here in the course of life. Someone that I went to high school with. And we were in very different places in life when we knew each other in high school. And now as adults, we're both kind of in the content game in our own way. This is a fascinating conversation with a longtime friend, now turned into a blossoming stand-up comic in her own right, in Shivani Dave. Next up, in a past life, she was a high school classmate of mine, but now I've seen a lot of her content game on social media, which has stepped up tremendously thanks to a burgeoning stand-up comedy career that's taking off in really cool fashion. It's Shivani Dave joining us on the course of life. Shivani, how you doing today?
Good. Thanks for having me. Yeah, great to see you. It's been a bit.
I know it's been a while since we connected, but we obviously go way back to growing up just outside of Boston. Every time I get back there, I kind of remind myself that we basically grew up in like a fake life town that looks like the set of a Hallmark Christmas movie. But
I love that.
How often do you get to go back there? And I know you're based in New York City, but how often do you see family in the area?
Yeah, that's a great analogy. I usually call it like, Pleasantville. From the movie. So yeah, it's there's some variation. Hallmark is a good one. Where the American, I always explain to everyone is where the American Revolutionary War started. So you can just start there and know exactly what you're to expect. But yeah. I go back a good amount because my family still lives in the home I grew up in Concord. So I'm there quite often seeing family. I try to go back just to help out with stuff. But yeah, I'm in New York City now and I've moved around quite a bit in the last probably since I've seen you last. So I've been all over. I've lived in, unfortunately, Jersey, but also California. And now I got to go back to Boston for a little bit. And now, New York City. And that's where kind of the stand-up stuff came about. So it's exciting, but yeah.
Love that. Well, in our past life, when we connected in high school, I like to do a lot of bragging about my high school golf career, but it doesn't even hold a candle to your high school tennis career. You were an amazingly impressive athlete, so I'll toot your horn real quick on that. But tell everyone a little bit about your path in tennis, where you ended up playing college and what that experience was like being for you as an athlete growing up.
Yeah, man, I played all sports growing up. I loved it. I have an older brother who they explored tennis with him, and I think that's the benefit of being a second child. He got to explore tennis. They realized, you kind of have to start this sport pretty early to make it very serious. And I gravitated. I liked soccer, if I'm being honest, but my Indian chicken legs just got destroyed, and I was tiny, so I couldn't hack it with the very bigger built female athletic bodies. And so I don't know. I gravitated towards tennis. Started playing in the USTA. If people know that's kind of where you start playing the tournaments, 10 and unders, 12 and unders, and one thing leads to another. And had a great coach going, Mike Gardner, who kind of started training with me, would go to Nike tennis camps every summer. And, you play all the tournaments and then you slowly get ranked. And then one thing leads to another and you start to get recruited. So it's a kind of I know that's a fast way. We can go into the details if you want, but I know since you guys are a sports podcast, but yeah, it was a whirlwind and I just really enjoyed it. And I had a really supportive set of parents. I mean, being Indian and playing sports was kind of unorthodox at the time. So, I mean, maybe still even today, you don't see a lot of female Indians playing tennis. I think it's getting a lot better, but I was definitely feeling a little bit where am I in the tennis scene
Yeah.
and who are these people? But at the same time, I met a lot of great people through it. And yeah, it became a huge part of my life.
When we parted ways, I went to college in Connecticut. You went to the University of Illinois. What was the experience like being a college athlete there?
Intense. I mean, I don't know. You golfed in college, right?
A little bit. Yeah.
A little bit. Okay.
Not a lot. No.
Yeah. And I mean, I got recruited on a full scholarship. So there's that extra pressure too. You don't get to one misstep, you're kind of that's in your face a little bit. That's a little bit of a threat. And you got to keep up your academics, which was really important to I guess myself too, and my parents. So I was studying business and I was trying to be a student athlete. I mean, it's tough. I mean, I don't know how your experience was, but My freshman year, first semester, I was like, what did I just sign up for? It was crazy. I had some pretty intense coaches, and you're just trying to figure out the system of like the tennis and where do you fall on the team. And then you're also trying to keep up with your classes. So you're going from basically 6 a.m. conditioning to an 8 a.m. econ class and hoping to stay awake. So it's just it was, and I like, it was tough. That, and then you slowly adjust. But I mean, I definitely think it's like a huge foundation for me on like, and how I've applied it to, being in the corporate America world setting, and then also even in stand up, pretty similar, like kind of ways to tackle it and how you think about the work ethic part and getting in your reps and make sure you practice. Basically, it's you can probably understand that too with golf.
Yeah, and on the stage, if you see Shivani's content, she's got some very quick volleys with the crowd too. There's a lot of quick hitting moments that are posted on her Instagram. It's Shivani Dave, spelled like Dave, DAV underscore V on Instagram. And that I wanted to get to. Let's put the fast forward button towards when comedy started coming in your life. You were in New York City and you've been living there for a while. But what was your experience with, let's just say, stand-up comedy in general and just going to shows and taking in comedy before you actually started yourself?
Yeah, I was going to a lot of shows all the time. Like my husband, Dave, his name is Dave. That's kind of part of the thing, Dave spelled like Dave thing. And people don't believe me, which I don't know how you make that up. I mean, I think you got to be a sociopath to make that up, but I have plenty of people come up to me after shows and go, that can't be real. And then sometimes Dave happens to be at a show and I just go, there he is. So yeah, I go like, and it's like I just was taking in a lot of comedy, like ever since my dad had Seinfeld. I know this. I mean, my dad had Seinfeld on. There was not a lot of shows. He didn't love the TV on in our household. It was like you should be like reading, which I know is hard for people today, including myself. But he was really like TV wasn't. He didn't love what I was on, but the one show was Seinfeld. He loved the characters. I mean, Kramer's character. Everything was just that kind of physical humor that's just so amusing. And so I would consume that. And my dad had a very strong presence, intense, but also like the life of a party, very funny, had great stage presence. And I think I like to think maybe that came from him. And like, I naturally got to like pick up and absorb that from him. And yeah, I think, but tennis doesn't make you very funny. Like when you're pursuing a sport like that, so a lot of people are like, really? You went into stand-up comedy? And so it's, I think it was always there. And like a quick story, when I was a freshman in college, spring break in college, right? It's usually around March time. It's a great time for most college kids who get to go like party in Florida or Panama City.
Not athletes,
Beach.
right?
Nope. And you know that, like, no, you are going to, this is why it's such a little bit of a manipulation. They take you to a very nice area. Like we would go to Puerto Rico, Hawaii, but you're doing 2-a-days and you're practicing and you're playing matches. So there's maybe one day of fun. Okay. But my freshman year, we went to LA. So that was cool, and we're going to play USC and some other schools out there. Our one night of fun was they took us to a comedy show, and in our warm-up suits, like no change, no getting ready for a cool comedy show. And the guy that we got to see, like basically headlining, was Jay Leno. And we sat front row. I'm 18 years old. And we sat front row. He ripped into us, made fun of us for matching. Why would we do that? And it was such a vivid experience for me. I was like, this is amazing. And I believe it was a club in Hermosa Beach. But to this day, I still can't really nail down which club it was. But I think through talking to other comics, we've nailed it down to where he used to do kind of like a residency when he was performing a lot. So kind of like things like that are the little things that kept me, and I just always loved sitting in the back of a stand-up club, which sounds kind of depressing, but I love it. So just consuming it, being in the back. I don't know, maybe it's a little bit like tennis, a little lonely. Golf is a little lonely.
Yep. Individualistic sports.
Yeah.
You versus the course, you versus the stage.
Yeah. I mean, golf is even sometimes, it's torture at times. I mean, I do enjoy golf, but we can get into that later. It was something I tried to pick up after college, but there's these thing you kind of have to work through it alone and on your own. And No one's really, unless, I mean, doubles is fun. That's why doubles can be a relief in tennis a little bit. But at the end of the day, you're still out there trying to figure it out on your own, calibrating, adjusting. And like you mentioned earlier, working with the crowd if something happens, and how do you handle that situation in the moment? And I think it's very similar to golf. How do you come back from a bad shot? How do you, pick up the pieces and make sure you still like finish the hole, in a positive way? So yeah, I think there's a lot to that. But those are like little gems I think about that kind of got me going. But yeah, and I think in the New York comedy club scene, I just started to, I think the big thing.
What was that moment when you first like quite literally decided, what was it? It must've been an open mic or just something for a quick 5 or 10 minutes, right?
Yeah. And
just to get your feet wet.
My good friend, he doesn't like to take credit for this, but he is a good college friend. His name is Dave Williams. And so the little joke for us, he was a friend of mine in college. And then he was roommates with my husband, Dave. So he's like,
also Dave.
Yeah. And so we would call each other like, he's Black Dave, White Dave, Brown Dave. So, and D Will, which is his nickname, he was doing stand-up in London, and he introduced my husband and I. So, we're still to this day he's like our best friend. And, he was doing stand-up in London. I was just like watching, through him vicariously, like, this is so cool, just being just supporting what he's doing. And then he came to New York, and I was like, hey, so, you should go do stand-up. Like, I wanted to like watch him like kind of explore the scene. And he's like, well, I'm not going to do it if you don't do it. And I was like, okay, that's a threat. I don't appreciate that. But yeah, he like, we did it. And here's the truth. Like when I was out in San Francisco, I was writing a lot. I was already writing screenplays. I was like submitting them to festivals. They do pretty well. So I was writing a lot. I didn't know you had that context. Yeah. And I had like I did sketch writing at Magnet Theater in New York City. And then the pandemic hit. So I was doing all this stuff on the side. I was just writing a lot. And then there was a little there's a challenge that my friend had put together prior to this about like, she's trying to write her own different kinds of form of mediums. I was trying to write and focus on my screenplays. I had kind of said I like stand up, but I never want to admit it. I don't know. It's just like a hard thing to admit that. And I wrote like a joke a day for like just 30 days and kind of was able to put what we call like a tight 5, together. And that's kind of what you always have to prepare, right, for like when you're first starting out. And I had it kind of ready to go. And my friend, I was just like kind of knew it was there, and I could string some jokes together. And and then we did an open mic, and open mics are not great and in New York City, but it's still, if you can get it out and you can spit it out and you can stay on stage and like get through it, and you're like, this, right, I feel good, and you got some laughs, you're just like, all right, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep charging through. And that's like what it is. You got to just keep being on stage and keep going through, cool. Especially in New York City. It's just incredibly competitive out here. So, no. Yeah, no, I've noticed the drive, and I've seen that you've been picking up more shows, more cities, and more opportunities, which we'll talk to. I got to know, what was the parents' first reaction when you told them that you were kind of giving this a little bit of a serious go outside of just a hobby on the side? Like I was always like, okay, I'm doing corporate America. Like I'm in healthcare, I'm in health tech. I'm like, I go from this job to another job. Sometimes I had a pretty difficult situation. I talk about on stage. I talk about like a difficult work situation, and I was like pursuing the kind of health tech startup world pretty hard. But I went through a situation where I ended up getting let go, and it was like something felt wrong, and I ended up suing, and it went in my favor due to like, I was terminated due to race, wrongful termination due to race. And it was a really, really poor experience for me. Obviously it went in my favor. The justice was played out correctly, but it never feels good. And kind of had to go through that experience. And I think at that point they're like, hey, Shivani, just like whatever makes you happy. Like at that point, parents are just like, we've seen you going through all these different kind of pursuits. And I think they were like, okay, this is, if this is something that you try it out. And I think once they see how hard you're working and you're pushing, they're like, okay, I mean, she's trying, doing this thing. And so I don't remember like, in a, and I know it's kind of stereotypical for like Indian people, like, oh, they don't want you to pursue the arts. I mean, I mean, I pursued the other pretty hardcore like business stuff that they, I think, appreciated, but I think at some point I'm a little bit, it's a little bit later in my like shift. I'm not a 21-year-old kid starting stand up, like, which is very common. But I think then it allows you to talk about more stuff like the corporate America stuff that a lot of people relate to. A lot of people in the audience are things that I've gone through already. So it's a lot of things that I can talk to, and I've gone through it, as opposed to maybe like, sometimes there's, you don't have a lot of life experience at 20 years old. So and material at the end of the day is like, that's what you're always grasping for.
Yeah, well, it's very cool that you were able to take what was a bad situation and turn it into inspiration, which is going to eventually being something good and great for you as well. So it's awesome to hear that. And that's exactly like why we're called The Course of Life. Like everyone's got a very different course into how they get to where they are and what they love to do. So that's an awesome piece of your story indeed. So the act of actually writing the jokes, putting the sets together, what have you learned now that you're kind of regularly getting up on stage, you're seeing new cities, performing with other comedians? What's the learning process been like for you as you're getting to do this, on a professional stage?
I think the stuff that I'm processing, I mean, with stand up, like you can't stop writing. Like I just did, like, even I'll talk about like last night, there's a new joke show, and you're regardless if you're like crushing it last weekend at another show, you're coming right back to square one, and you're like, I gotta keep filling this these sets with new jokes because it's really important. And I hate to admit this, but some people say it's like because of the social media now and everyone throwing it online, that's part of the motivation to write a lot more. But I don't think that's where my motivation comes from. If anything, it comes from the fact that like until new material and getting a set done properly and having it fill it into a narrative and building out a special. That's how I saw stand up. That's how I saw some of the people I looked up to, how they built that. And then another special comes out. You can't reuse those things, right? Once it's out there on like the major platforms. But I think that just making sure you're constantly putting in that time, and even you see, like, we'll be on shows with some of the best comedians, and they're working out a new joke too. So that's what you watch, and they're working it out on stage. They're figuring it out. What does that work, not work? And they might have to dump it or rewrite it. So we're all kind of like at that level. Sometimes you're on that same playing field of like working out a new joke. And when it works, oh my gosh, you're just like relieved. You're like, that worked? Okay, great. I can like actually work with that now. And like even last night, I'm playing with the crowd a little bit and just saying like, cool, you guys like Bibles. Perfect. I'm going to keep going with that Bible joke then. And you guys can, thank you for the feedback. But yeah, it is definitely a process where it doesn't really, very different, right? Like you're maybe in a corporate America world, it's not linear. There's still ups and downs, right? But you kind of get to a place here. It's quite a roller coaster, but you're also like, okay, get that. You got these great jokes. Now it's time to work some new material. Okay, build it back up. But hopefully through that time, what is building is your presence, your delivery, how fast you can write, how quickly you can pivot and stuff like that. So I think those like things like just getting on stage and building that confidence is super important.
Definitely. Yeah. It comes through reps, and I see it developing throughout each clip and everything that you do from a show perspective. And in show, definitely noted that, there's the act of like kind of crowd work, which is kind of a very buzzy, popular thing right now. But adjacent to that, what I've seen from a lot of your clips is you're very good at noticing crowd reactions. Do you do that consciously, or how much are you looking at the eyes and facial reaction of the crowd during the show and maybe pivoting or moving something slightly in your set?
Yeah, I think there's a balance. I think you can't react to everything. I think that's even something I'm working on. I'm like, even if you do see I think the habit of a stand-up sometimes, or maybe the flaw is like, you want if there's, say it's just a room of 100 people, you want every single person laughing. And that's like, not everyone, that's the beauty of
pretty
stand-up.
Unrealistic. Yeah.
Yeah. And look, I mean, I think Jerry Seinfeld said it really well. Like someone asked him, you're the greatest of all time. Like, how's it feel to be like everyone's favorite stand? He's like, I'm not everyone's favorite stand-up comedian. Like that's impossible. Like it's because it's like you have a taste and what do you like? And even you could probably say like, who are your top? They might not be the same as someone else, even though that list is still some really great comics. So you have to get over that, like that one person who might be like not into it, or they're just like, maybe they're laughing inside and they don't show it the same way. You have people who will laugh and then cover their mouth. Like, no, we don't want that. We want you to literally belt out the laugh. We like that, but we don't know what they're feeling that day. So you just have to, but yeah, the way I kind of set up some of my stuff is, it's fun for me to segue into jokes by getting to know the crowd. I enjoy that. I enjoy engaging. But I really do. It really is about the jokes. I don't like to force the crowd work if it's not there. We go back to social media kind of aspect, people forcing crowd work to get a clip. As soon as my head goes there, it's not a fun set anymore. It is not enjoyable. I don't even know if it's that enjoyable for the crowd. I'm not sure. But sometimes you do get a crowd. I've done like shows in Miami, for example. They love crowd work. They don't even want to hear. You could have the best joke. This joke works. It's classic. They don't care. They're like,
go right down the line, roast session, just spray it wherever. Yeah.
And you're like, all right, here we go. Let's do this. I guess we can do this. I guess you want to be made fun of. I don't want to be that human, but if you want to, maybe we'll go there a little bit. But I try not to be, if it comes naturally and someone's being a little bit tough in the audience, and I think it's okay to like pick at them a bit, sure. But I'm not necessarily one who's I like to think, I'm not like a mean comic, but there's a balance, I think, in trying to play with that. But I definitely want to like get through jokes. I want to do, if I do a whole set with just crowd work, I'm like, what did I just do? Yeah. But I do know that I don't know. There's something about today's audiences. Certain clubs in New York City, they are loving, they come for comedy. They love it. And it, and they want to hear jokes. Sometimes you go to a show and you're like, they wanted to just be played with. And so you kind of have to find that balance. And you'll do, in New York, you can do like 4 or 5 spots a night. And every show could be slightly different, and I was just doing in the same club, 2 different rooms and literally jumping from spot to spot. I'm on one at 8:30 and one at 9. Wow. And I do this, similar set, but as I'm trying to work out new jokes, and I can see a little bit of a change in a new joke that works there. And then, I can deliver it slightly different in there. And then you just work through it. And you kind of have to document that in your head, or you're recording it and stuff like that. But it's a learning process the whole time.
Interesting. Very cool perspective. Again, Shivani Dave joining us on the Course of Life. Appreciate you rocking the Patriots Cup too. Yeah. New England strong through and through. Love to see that. But unfortunately, you're getting compared on the internet to another quarterback that's not named Tom Brady.
Oh my gosh. I know.
Talk to me a little bit about these what your voice sounds like comparisons that are going around.
I don't know. You guys tell me. I didn't think this. I remember one time in college, one of my college tennis teammates could validate this. Another male tennis player would start to sing, I sound like Kermit. I thought that was hurtful. Whatever. That resonated with me. That stuck. And then it hasn't come back until I started doing stand-up. And I started getting these comments that the first one I saw was that she sounds like Kermit the Frog and Patrick Mahomes had a baby. And I was like, okay, cool. Then I was in an Uber going to a show, and they said I sounded and remind them of Ray Romano, who I know gets compared to Kermit too. So I'm like in this weird bucket of like Kermit, Patrick, Ray. I mean, all people I like. So it's not the worst thing in the world. I mean, I don't know how people feel about Patrick. I watched the Quarterback Netflix series, and I was a big fan of his like work ethic and who he is. And
he's our rival, but it's hard to hate what he's doing out there. So
it really is. It's like Tom Brady. You can't hate on him, right? I mean, he's just the results are there. So I don't know what is going on with Patrick, Ray, and Kermit. I mean, it sounds like I'm a combination, but I'm not hating on it, to be honest. Fans of all of them. So
no, there's way worse company to be in if we're doing the I sound like. That's for sure. Yeah, so you got that going for you.
100%. So let's see what happens. Maybe Patrick, just wants to hang out. That's fine. I wouldn't be against it.
Could be future content. Actually, you never know.
Yeah.
Awesome content that's already in the books for you. A definite like moment that I took notice of. Dave Attell in comedy is one of those names that's just, not only has he been around forever, but he's been great for a long time. He's like one of the OG legends in the game. You had the opportunity to spend some time with him, open up for him as well. That had to have been a pinch me moment for you for sure. But what was that experience like working with him?
Yeah, Dave Attell's great. He's been super supportive of me. We ran into each other in the New York Comedy Club scene. When you're hanging out and you're at different shows and people are there, one thing leads to another. Comics, you're introduced, and yeah, he just, invited me along to open for him in Chicago the first time. I was like, kind of like, really? I was like, are you sure that was what you were asking me? But yeah, he's been nothing but support. I've got to work with him a handful of times, do weekends with him. He's such a, as you know, I don't know, you were probably into his show on Comedy Central, and I think you're probably like the target, like a good target audience for that. I know my husband Dave too was like, that was a big show for like guys your age, and Insomniac. And yeah, he works so hard. He has such strong work ethic. He just loves the game, like loves stand up, and is always writing, always rewriting. And when you get to watch him, you just already have that pressure, like make sure you're doing a good job for your set, but you're just getting to soak in his process and how he adjusts a joke every show. If you're doing 6 shows with him in one weekend, there might be 6 different punchlines for the same joke. So It's pretty, he's just working so hard. And yeah, I'm very grateful that I get to have worked with him, and I continue to, admire his work and all that. So yeah, it is very great. And that's the beauty of, I think, New York City and stand up. It's just, when you're here, that's what happens. It just comes naturally, and you're running into a lot of folks.
Yeah, you've not only done a lot in New York City, but you've got upcoming dates as well too, all throughout the fall and winter. It looks like you're heading out to a lot of different shows, East Coast, Midwest. What's in the plans for you in terms of next steps as you try to find bigger rooms, more opportunities, and stand up?
Yeah, I think it's you're always it's kind of what we were talking about earlier. You're working on your own like set personally. You're at the same time kind of hustling for interesting spots, and I'm always willing. I'm always willing to travel. That is just kind of part of my MO. Maybe coming into stand up a little later. I traveled a lot for my previous jobs and work. I traveled a lot for tennis. So for me, it's just like no brainer. I'm willing to travel. I'm willing to go to different cities, and I feel like that's part of it. Working with great people, just like a Dave Attell, like a Bonnie McFarlane, Nimesh Patel, all these comics that are just I look up to and admire. Gary Gulman, who very early on in my stand up, my first year, got to just work with him. He hosts this amazing show called Gary Gulman Pizzazz, and he's a Boston guy. I don't know if you've seen his specials, but someone that I admired so much because of how he writes. He's so smart, and he played I think basketball or football at BC as well. So we just kind of bonded over sports and comedy, and those kind of working with those great people who you can just look up to, learn from, soak in is huge. And then like I'm get to coming in, trying to have come late to this game and stand up, but I think through the New York scene and just hustling and working hard and writing a lot, you hopefully get to kind of, I've headlined some shows. Like I'm a headline last weekend in Beacon, New York. That was a great little scene, Hudson Valley. So you're doing kind of this combination of working with great people, getting up as much as possible in your hometown, which is for me in New York City in terms of stand up. And then also being on the road with great comics, or whether you're opening, featuring, or whether you're, you're doing your own thing. I mean, it's like that kind of, you kind of trying to hit all those aspects. So what I always say is like, it's a dual pursuit in a way. It's like and then just add social media to it, but like you're just trying to make sure you can deliver the stand up and write, write good jokes, but you also have to get on stage, and that's its own pursuit of hustling to get on stage. And then I guess add that third layer, social media, which that's another like little job. as well.
Oh yeah,
But,
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, well put indeed, but it's good to see that you're chasing after something that you love. We always support people coming on the show and talking about doing things that they're passionate about. And you're not only marrying the comedy passion right now, but you're marrying it with tennis, and you're bringing tennis back into your comedy life as well too. Smacking balls and talking smack is something you just started recently. It's a conversation driven content piece where you're quite literally playing tennis with other comedians. Obviously, I know exactly where the idea came from, but what's been exciting about getting back out on the tennis court and marrying these two things?
Yeah, I know. I was like, am I going to be able to hit still? It's been, I got to give credit. Like I get a lot of like with these great comics, like a Nattel or like a Bonnie McFarlane. They're just like, dude, that combination of tennis and comedy is not common. So there's a great way to like marry those, as you put it perfectly. Like, how do you bring that to the table? And a lot of comics, didn't realize how much, especially veteran comics, they want to play, they want to hit, they want to go on a court and play tennis. And it's fun. And to come on Smacking Balls, talking smack, you don't have to be great at tennis. That's on the like hitting part, and making sure that the ball stays in is on me. That's my responsibility. And we, as long as we can keep that rally going, and we're just talking and we play fun games, we can talk about serious stuff too. It's been really, it's been fun. It's pretty new. We've been filming a bunch. You can probably see now, like there's some episodes out, and we have some great ones I have one we're filming tomorrow. We have some great comics coming on this month. And right now we're putting them out monthly just because it's like I have a great videographer, Dominic Mull. He just like, it's really well produced, and, we have numerous cameras on. We take over 2 courts, which is
that's
like
impressive. I see that.
Yeah, I know, which is, is not like easy to get to tennis courts in general, but to be able to, I found a little secret safe spot that allows us no film restrictions, but it's really cool. We set up cameras all over the second court, and then we have a drone to kick off to get some nice, cool B-roll and get those aerial shots. And Dominic does a really great job. And just, it's been received in terms of like the excitement to do it, the excitement to kind of see kind of the content is, it's been fun. I think I enjoy it, and that's the kind of content I don't mind putting out, so.
Yeah, I know. I see you're doing the tennis with some comedian friends, and you're going through some of the basics with them, forehand, backhand, balling. But tell me a little bit about someone who can actually bring it, who's actually got some tennis game that you play with.
So far, I think, one of the last episode we put out, I had Adam Mamawala on. He played like club tennis in college, and we could actually get some like legit serious rallies in, which is fun. And I played actual games, but, that was really fun for me. But at the same time, like we just filmed one with a great comic who I'm working with at Mohegan Sun end of Halloween weekend, Greg Stone. I don't know if I've cried, laughed that much. And the confidence that he came in with the tennis and the lack of tennis experience he had is just what makes stand-up him so funny. I had such a good time filming that with him. And I couldn't, at one point, I just like could not ask any questions because I was like tearing up, and it just made it like so fun. And we can have like really good conversation too, with especially these comics that that are excited to do it. They have such a breadth of experience with comedy that like, we have different skill sets at that point in terms of like, hey, listen, I can help with a little bit of the tennis stuff. They're excited to come on. They want to learn a few things. And then we can have a really fruitful conversation about comedy life and just play fun games that kind of cater to, who they might be. And also, I like to also call it kind of the hot ones for tennis, because we do ask some like, I do ask some like testy questions, some weird ones, some silly ones. So we kind of, I make sure to get, throw them off their game a little bit. So that's
I saw some least favorite celebrity comedian question answered. We'll let you watch and find out who that was, but they're definitely spilling the tea for sure.
Yeah. So it's fun. It's been a blast, and I hope to like it continues to do well. And I think it's pretty early on right now, but yeah, well, here's the thing, this, Alex, like weather is a contributing factor to this podcast. So we actually need to film before the winter hits. I think we filmed like 4 or 5 in October just now, so, or have planned. We already filmed a couple We got one tomorrow. So we got to prep for the weather. You can't really film, and okay, now you're going to tell me I have to get access to indoor courts. It's just not going to happen in New York City. So it's just not, it's impossible. So, but it's been, so we're kind of building that up for the winter. And then I do think it would be fun to I think smacking balls, talking smack balls are just hey, listen, it could be any ball, it doesn't have to be tennis. It could be ping pong. Yeah. It could, but so it's, and pickleball is contentious. So I do ask the guests what they prefer. But there's usually when we're hitting, there are people playing pickleball around us, and it's distracting. Yeah, it's very distracting. The sound.
Understandable. Well, one thought that I do have off of what I do currently with Course of Life stuff is I will just, get a media credential and I'll go to these professional events and do some interactive golf content with LPGA tour players. Yeah. Makes me think who's a tennis player professionally that you think would be a good guest on Smacking Balls, Talking Smack. That could be something in your near future there.
I know. I know that would be so fun. I think they have to be slightly funny. I think that would make it a lot more fun. Obviously, I think I was just talking about this player the other day. I do think he has a great sense of humor as Djokovic. He has a great sense of humor.
Yeah,
I think
he does.
Well. That's a stretch. That's a big one. He's probably going to retire. I don't know when he's going to retire, but it definitely has to be someone with a good sense of humor. Not a self-serious tennis player, which is tennis players are pretty can be pretty serious. No, we'll see. Yes, it's a good goal to get an actual tennis player on, and then I will train for that episode.
There you go. That'll get you back in training for sure.
Yes.
Nice. Awesome.
Yeah.
Shivani Dave joining us here again on the Course of Life. It's Shivani Dave, spelled DAV_ on Instagram if you want to check out her content. We'll just do a couple minutes of rapid fire questions before we wrap up here. Starting first, we got to touch on golf. You said you took it up a little bit post-college. What's the status of your golf game these days? You playing at all?
Not a lot. When did I? Every year my family has a charity golf outing around 9/11 in honor of my cousin who passed, and it's been going on for numerous years, and it's such a lovely day of family and friends coming together. It's called the NGS Foundation, Neil G. Shashi Foundation, and we all come together as a family, get to play a scramble, which I think probably you can appreciate is the best way to play golf when you haven't been playing much. Oh, what a relief.
Take everyone's best shot all the time.
So much more fun. Have a couple Miller Lights and don't think about anything. But I know it's that's been more recent, not playing a lot. But when I lived in California, I don't know if you went out there a lot for golf, but maybe I'm assuming so. But when I moved out to California, LA, and I was done with tennis in college and kind of burnt, to be honest. I was playing, taking lessons. There's a great golf course in San Francisco called Presidio Golf Course. It was one of my favorites. I'd play 18 on Saturday, Sunday. I was no big deal. I'm just going to do the LPGA, no big deal. And it's easy. Okay. Yeah. Not going to happen. You need to, why would, delusional, right? But, and also delusional as someone who was an athlete, you should know what it takes to go pro in this. But it was really fun. And it's just, I don't know. I think just similar to tennis, there's I had the nice learning curve of golf where, the hand-eye came in very quickly. But as soon as you want to really get those strokes down, I'm how much the technicality and the work that gets down just to make sure you're shooting consistently and in the 80s and stuff like that for someone like me. It just takes such precise work and practice and getting out on the range. And I don't have to tell you that, you know.
Yep.
So
it's an endless pursuit and you can never perfect it. That's for sure.
Have you seen Andrew Santino's, he's a comedian, his podcast called No Bad Lies?
Yeah, he does a lot of stuff now, and it's translated to video on YouTube really nicely to see him walk and talk and converse on the course.
You should get him on. Yeah.
Definitely. Definitely a great target indeed.
Yeah. Or you should go play golf because that's a fun one for you.
Yep. How about you can be anywhere, random town or favorite random room to play that you've uncovered recently? I went to a stand-up comedy show in Madison, Wisconsin, which I really never thought I would do, to see Joe Fenty this summer. And it was at a lovely little room called the Burr Oak right near the campus of University of Wisconsin. What's an example like that? Just give me random venue, random room. You wouldn't believe it's there, but it's a really cool place to see a comedy show.
I mean, I can't, I'm trying to think of something specific. You know, some shows that kind of blow my mind that end up being so fun are brewery shows.
Yes.
They
Good crowd.
always have they're so fun. And I did one recently. I was, in Hudson Valley, and I've done some in Massachusetts actually, and I didn't know and I'm walking in and they pack it out. Like they pack it out 100, 200 folks. And I don't know. They also are just genuinely there. They bought their ticket. They're ready to consume comedy, drink a couple of good beers. And it's just been, some of those brewery shows have been a blast. That surprised me. There's comedy shows that are really fun, if you've heard of, that are called like Don't Tell Comedy. And they're basically, the organization is, the foundation of it is a secret venue and a secret lineup. And they're all over the country. So anytime I'm traveling, and I know I'm already booked on some shows, I usually try to jump on like a Don't Tell show that's in that city. And those are pretty like cool because they will be, one of the first ones I did was in Chicago. And it's just like, you would not even think there was a venue there. It looks pretty shady. And then you walk in and the way they set it up, the producers, it's a beautiful backdrop. The crowds, there's BYOB. Everyone's ready to have a good time. Some of those have been done in a bicycle shop. And
wow,
they do
that's a good tip
job.
there. Don't tell comedy.
And I've done them in Boston. I mean, I can't tell you. I mean, probably I know, like I do them pretty much any city I've been to for comedy. I've probably done a Don't Tell there. And just because they're a blast, they do a great job with the production, and it's just really high quality. And yeah, the Boston ones are fun. I think the last one I did in Boston was at a ski shop.
Oh, cool. Yeah, that's authentically New England right there.
Yeah, it was called Ski Monster in downtown Boston. And they, again, filled it out really nicely. It's a great organization. They do a great job.
Okay, Don't Tell Comedy in the brewery shows. I like that idea as well. It's a perfect segue to our 19th hole question, which we always wrap with here with our guests. So it's pretty simple. You have a day on the course or maybe a day playing tennis, but you get into that nice clubhouse and it's time for the 19th hole. So after you're done, what's your meal and your drink that you want to have at the 19th hole?
Oh my gosh. Okay. First of all, I do love Arnold Palmer's, which I know is cliche, but it is my favorite drink.
The best. Yep.
But I also just can't wait for a beer. So it is also just a nice light beer. I like light beer. I will drink a good hef, but I love a good light beer. It is the way I approach stand-up. I approach it like I do in tennis. We had a 48-hour rule in college. So no drinking. I don't know if you had this in golf. No drinking or partying 48 hours. But after that, this is the problem with athletes. We're like pretty good at binge drinking, unfortunately, just because you worked your ass off and you're like, let's go now. But I kind of approached stand-up like that too. I was like, nothing until the night's over, until you earned it, which I guess is a little bit harsh, but that's how I like to do it. And the meal after golf, my head goes to nachos.
Yeah, that's a good choice. Yeah.
I used to play golf a lot in San Francisco in the Bay Area. And you're going to know this. It's a TPC course.
Oh, wow.
And they had this great 9-hole. Maybe you can Google it. They had this great 9-hole that you can just jump on after work. I would go with coworkers.
That's nice. It's good vibe.
And and then the 18 TPC course, but it was maintained. The 9-hole was maintained the same way. It was so nice. You could bring like your little Sunday bag and just like go play. And they had I loved sitting in the clubhouse after and like doing like a beer and nachos. That's kind of what I'm going to come up with a better answer after, because I do love this question, because food and like your post something food item is so important to me right now in stand up. I like cannot wait to the end of the night.
It's the camaraderie at the end of the night too. It's the whole vibe of the 19th hole. I do content around, like, whenever I visit a restaurant or bar, I just call it the 19th hole and I say why it'd be a great 19th hole, because any place can be a great 19th hole. So
but really mozzarella sticks.
So there's a good second option too.
but that's not, that's my thing too. Late night mozzarella sticks, nachos, little spaghetti, aglio-olio, pizza. I have my go-tos. So it's all above. It's all carb heavy. It's all disgusting. And I love it so much.
Awesome. All right. It was great connecting with you, Shivani Dave. Again, check her out on Instagram for future stand-up dates. She's all over the place. Look forward to seeing more of your comedy content as well, too.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Alex. So good to see you.
Thursday Night Football is on, and it's only on Prime Video.
That's going to be on.
This week, the Minnesota Vikings head west to face the Los Angeles Chargers.
They'll take that all day.
Coverage begins at 7 p.m. Eastern with football's best party. TNF Tonight, presented by Verizon. Not a Prime member? Not a problem. Simply sign up for a 30-day free trial. It's the Vikings and the Chargers, Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern, only on Prime Video. Restrictions apply. See Amazon.com/Amazon Prime for details.
Wish you could become a morning person? You know the type, up before the sun, early morning runs, first one to the office with donuts and a smile. How do they do it? Easy. With the new Galaxy Watch 8, sleep tracking and personalized insights from Samsung Health help you improve so you can wake up to a whole new you. One who, dare I say it, skips the snooze? It's possible. Train your sleep with Galaxy Watch 8. Learn more at Samsung.com. Requires compatible Samsung Galaxy phone, Samsung Health app, and Samsung account.
Course of Life podcast is brought to you by Zencastr. We've been using Zencastr here since almost the very beginning as how Alex and I record this podcast from hundreds of miles away. And it provides us with great quality audio that works every time. And it's something that makes Course of Life what it is and has kept us being able to make consistent episodes every week. And now it's super easy to record a podcast with Zencastr. You log in using your browser and start recording a high quality podcast right away. You record studio quality sound and up to 4K video with your guests. You feel a sense of zen knowing Zencastr's multi-layered backups ensure you always have your recordings in the highest quality, even if the connection is unstable. And have you ever wondered what you actually sound like? Zencastr's post-production process makes you sound buttery smooth. It automatically removes those ums and ahs in your recording. It removes those awkward pauses in conversation too. Set the right podcast loudness and levels while reducing background noise with the click of a button. Head on over to zencastr.com/pricing and use our promo code CourseOfLife to get 30% off your first month of any Zencastr paid plan. We want you to have the same easy experiences we do for all of your podcasting and content needs. Again, that's zencastr.com/pricing and our promo code CourseOfLife. Zencastr, it's time to share your story.
This episode is brought to you by Nature's Bounty. Nature's Bounty believes your body is brilliant, naturally designed to thrive, inside and out. For those always looking for new ways to support your health from head to heels, Nature's Bounty has a range of over 400 vitamins and supplements born from 50 years of trust and care. Nature's Bounty. It's in your nature. Visit naturesbounty.com to learn more.
This episode is presented by State Farm. Having insurance isn't the same as having State Farm. It's like expecting the leadership of a team captain on the football field, but getting a sea captain. You wouldn't settle for just anything for your team. Shouldn't it be the same for your insurance? So don't settle for just any insurance when you can go with a leader. State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
We're back. Great chat there with Shivani. Love to hear that her family gave her the support to tell her to do what made her happy.
Right. Yeah.
And like she said, also, you know, obviously the stereotype of Indian families that your parents tell you to be a doctor and you go become a doctor.
Yes, I know. Yeah. She was very open about that. I appreciate her candor with that. And there are moments in life when you have adversity and parents can be parents in the best way. And hearing her get that sign off to just, like do what makes you happy in this moment. And that ended up being the moment she actually really started chasing the career in comedy. Is definitely very inspirational and a cool part of her story that I'm glad I got told.
And if you like that conversation plus everything else we do here on this podcast, make sure you punch that subscribe button on the podcast app you're using right now. Leave us a rating of a number of stars that you feel is appropriate and that comes from your heart.
Yeah, I love that.
You can also follow us on Instagram, COL Podcast, Course of Life. Alex, I'm at MWRINC. We're on YouTube. If you like to watch things, every once in a while, Alex does an interview with a video, including this week's with Shivani. And you can go on there and watch the interview and see what these people look like. And then, go from there and share it with your friends and tell them, hey, look at these wonderful people that this ugly person Alex is talking to.
So wholesome, yeah. It's nice of you. A little dig in there. I like that. Appreciate that. Thanks.
All right, let's get to the back nine. Let's talk about all these other sports going on because there's a lot, because it is the fall and winter sports season kicking off. Let's talk about the NBA. They're in action. No LeBron. Do we care?
Yeah, no LeBron for the Lakers to start the season. Yeah, indeed. And no Jason Tatum to start the season for the Celtics after his Achilles injuries. We'll see how long he's out for the Celtics, but you would appreciate what happened the other day, Mike. Celtics coach Joe Mazzulla, he's a bit of a hard ass. Let's just be honest. He's a bit of a hard ass. He's a competitive guy too. So they annually have a Celtics media game where the members of the media who cover the Boston Celtics have a fun little scrimmage on the floor where the Celtics practice. The team watches. It creates some comedy. Well, what the media didn't know is that on the day of the media game, the Celtics coaching staff decided that they were going to be the other team. So Joe Mazzulla surprised the media and said at the end of the press conference, oh, by the way, you guys are playing against the Celtics coaching staff today. So how do you think it went, Mike? Celtics coaching staff versus random media members that look like you and me, just for context, on a basketball court. How do you think that game went?
This was the Harlem Globetrotters.
Yeah. The final score was Celtics coaching staff 57, Celtics media 4. An absolute beatdown by Joe Mazzulla and the Celtics coaching staff.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Tough look for the media there.
That's too bad.
Yeah.
That's too bad. Well, all right then. The other interesting thing that I thought came out of the NBA this week that I'm just surprised about, Kevin Durant got a 2-year extension with the Houston Rockets, $90 million extension. He now holds the record for the highest career earnings in the NBA at $598.2 million, surpassing LeBron James's $583.9 million.
Yeah, he is milking these contracts, and they're short, 1, 2 and done contracts. Like, I can't even name all the teams he's played for at this point. He's a great player, but my God, the guy has bounced around a lot. And my one other basketball note, shout out to Steph Curry and Bryson DeChambeau for finally breaking 50 on YouTube as well too. Yep.
He can do more than just shoot threes.
That's for sure.
All right, let's talk about college football. So much to really talk about. I want to start with with Lane Kiffin, though. I really want to start with Lane Kiffin.
Yes. Yeah, you caught this headline. Yeah, let everyone know what Lane Kiffin was up to last weekend.
Lane Kiffin posted a picture of himself before the game on the weekend without his shirt on.
Shirtless.
Between 2 women in sports bras.
Yeah. Yes.
And a yoga logo on the wall behind them saying that he just had a great yoga session.
Yeah.
I have a lot of questions. I have a lot of questions, Lane.
Yeah, Lane Kiffin's one of those guys where he's like the old school bro that likes to show off like how much of a man he is, like in various different ways. He loves the machismo posts, I would say. So this falls right in line with that. You
know what they say? If you have to tell everyone, you must not be very.
Yep, I like that. Well put, indeed. And that actually showed through later because Ole Miss was dominated on the football field. So Lane, I know you might have think you posted the cool picture with you and the 2 cute girls, but if you can't get the win after on the football field, that doesn't hit as hard with me.
Yeah. Speaking of wins on the football field, let's talk about Texas Longhorns. Are they're back and forth every week? Are they back? Are they back?
They're the worst 5-2 team like ever.
Wow.
They're going to be ranked in the top 20, but it's so fraudulent. 3 cupcake wins, squeaking by Kentucky in overtime, and the game of their life against Oklahoma. There's still a lot of work for them to be done as they go through the SEC schedule.
Speaking of work to be done, Bill Belichick.
I actually predicted he was going to get fired on Saturday after they lost. Friday night.
They had a big show of force where it was him and the chancellor and the athletic director, and they were all up there going like, "Bill's our man." And it's interesting because you hear a lot about kind of a really relaxed environment going on in UNC, and Bill not doing his job.
Yep.
And what's Bill's big slogan?
That he literally trademarked.
Do your job.
Yeah. So it's coming back to bite him. And I'm wondering, it's a ticking time bomb. I'm wondering how long this is going to last. Florida just fired their head coach for probably lesser. Penn State's fired their head coach. So he's not immune of getting fired in the middle of the season. I wouldn't be surprised if it happened too.
I'm sure they're maybe trying to work it out where they want him to do his own $1 million payout instead of them having to pay him out.
Yeah, most likely. Indeed.
So
final college football headline we got to get to is Peter Herbstreit. He's the most famous dog in college football. He follows Kirk Herbstreit everywhere on the road, primarily from Wednesday to Sunday as Kirk does the Thursday night Amazon Prime game, and then heads to College Game Day, and then whatever game he does. Peter is by his side. There was a viral video that emerged, and I sent it to you, Michael. What were your thoughts on the Peter Herbstreit video that you saw?
He's just running up and down a hallway
of a hotel.
Yeah.
At night.
I mean, what time was this video posted? I guess that's what I'm missing context.
The context is, and it took me a few moments to put this all together too, but a lot of people, Michael, going after him for being very thoughtless and inconsiderate of the other hotel guests on that floor by having a dog run up and down the hallway. Now that you have that context, what are your thoughts on the video?
I mean, yeah, I get it. But I mean, I don't know.
I think it was a little bit overdone. I wanted to throw it by you because I was curious where you stand on that. And I think your reaction tells me kind of exactly what I need to know. That's an internet only angry thing. In real life, real world, I don't think many people care, but just in the comments section, a lot of people got loud against Kirk letting Peter run up and down the hallway.
Yeah. I get it. I get it, though. I get it. So.
All right, let's move to the NFL highs real quick. We got to shout out the Kansas City Chiefs because they are finding form. I'll tip my hat to champions when I start to see it. 31-0 blowout win over the Raiders. And I got to shout out the Cowboys. They're not a great team, but they had a big bounce back win against the Commanders. Definitely two of the more impressive performances of the week.
Yep. Your Patriots had an impressive performance over the 1-5 Titans.
Yeah, again, thank you for contextualizing that. I'm trying not to get too far ahead on this team. They're just beating the bad, just like I said last week. This was another one. They are. I don't know if they are good, but we are formidable enough to beat all the bad teams. So that's a nice step in the right direction.
And you're playing a lot of bad teams this year.
Yeah. You can run through and you're like, oh my God, wow, that's another one. And we get the poop, as my wife calls it, the poopy Cleveland Browns, who haven't scored. I believe they have some record, and your buddy knows this as well too. They have some record where they haven't scored more than 17 points in like over a year now. It's like going on 2 years. And so, pretty soft schedule for the Patriots right now.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to be, a 12-win team, maybe 13-win team by the time the season's over.
That's nuts to say. Wow.
Blown out in the playoffs in the first game. It'd be the worst 12-win team ever.
It could have that vibe. You're right. It's strangely optimistic and pessimistic at the same time. Like, this team could go from being 4-13 to 12-5 in one season. But yeah, if they don't face the right challenges or if they don't get right at a certain point in the season, it could end in winning. So we'll see.
So we'll see what happens. It'll be interesting.
Just nice to be winning again. I can't complain. So.
Winning would be nice.
Drake May went out for 3 plays when I'm at the bar watching yesterday with a concussion. He came right back in. He got quickly screened and he was fine. They just had to check him out. During that moment, a fan came up to me and said, sorry, man, I'll buy you a beer. I was like, buddy, I had 20 years of Tom Brady. I don't deserve anything else. He's like, yeah, you're right. Actually, I'm a Colts fan, so you can suck my dick. I was like, all right, Great interaction. Great. You have a great day, Sarah.
Colts 6-1, by the way. They're doing pretty well.
Speaking of, that could be a January matchup down the road.
There you go. What won't be a January matchup is the Giants. Just finding other ways to lose. They keep the Broncos scoreless into the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And then we blow the lead, and then we regain the lead with 30 seconds left, and then we blow it again.
It's an all-time roller coaster. Again, a 19-point lead blown. Blew the 19-point lead. But then a miracle happens. You went down and you got the lead back.
Yeah.
You had the drive that Giants fans dream of in that moment. Oh my God, this could have been catastrophic, but we just avoided it with a last second drive.
Here's the problem with the Giants. Okay. First of all, our kicker sucks. He missed 2 point-after attempts.
Yes, that was clear. Yeah.
That was the game there.
Yeah.
It was clearly the game. Second thing that sucks is the defense. They obviously can't make a stop in the fourth quarter.
They cut right through him in the fourth quarter. Yeah.
The third problem is the offensive line because Dart had like 3 or 4 sacks in the second half of this game. Mm-hmm. We're a horrific second half team.
Yes.
We are not a good second half team. Mm-hmm. The good thing is that even though Dart threw a horrific, probably cost the game interception in the fourth quarter, he is a rookie. Mm-hmm. He's still learning. And besides that, he had an incredible game, including that run down the field to take the lead back.
This is an important step in your therapy as a Giants fan to have this perspective right now. You're saying healthy things. Right now.
I need to get back off the wagon here. Fire everybody. Season's over. We're never going anywhere. Get back with me next week when I talk about how we're going to win the Super Bowl.
Yes. What I'm going to give you is there's just that glimmer with Jackson Dart that has you saying that for a little bit. But yeah, I know you're going to revert back to being the Giants. So.
It's not great. So there you go. All right, let's talk about baseball, Major League Baseball in full action as we wrap up the league championship series.
We'll have the World Series by now, by the time
by the time you're listening to this, it'll be the World Series. It'll either be the Mariners or the Blue Jays against the frickin' Dodgers.
The last wall of defense against the Dodgers here. Led by Babe Ruth reincarnated Shohei Ohtani.
I mean, literally, if you look at his splits over his first 150 games or something, it's like exactly the same.
Yeah. So this hallmark performance Friday was 10 strikeouts pitching and then hopping up to bat and hitting 3 home runs as well. Yep. And the golf Twitter world was abuzz trying to compare what that was like in golf terms. What do you got for me? In golf terms, what was that about? My first guess was 10 birdies and 3 eagles for a 1,600 par round, but I feel like there's something better than that. I don't know.
This is Sunday at a U.S. Open.
Okay. It is a major stage, yep.
Yeah. And you're going in with a 5-stroke lead, but you still hit 63.
Okay. Yeah. There you go. Yeah. Just the absolute bloodbath blowout. 2000 Tiger Woods at Pebble Beach. Just, doesn't even need to go low this weekend, but does it anyway.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Okay. So that's what I would really compare it to. I know people are saying it's hitting a 63 or something, or yes, you're hitting a low score, but I think you need to contextualize that this was never in doubt at this point either. The Dodgers are going to win this series, so there wasn't as much pressure maybe on Shohei.
True.
And obviously you want to go out there and you want to do your best job, but his performance is unreal. But contextually, this isn't Game 7 of the World Series.
True.
If Game 7 of the World Series, if he did this in Game 7 of the World Series, this would be Sunday at Augusta down by 5.
Yeah, I know. Move the scale if that happens next week.
So
crazy stuff.
All right, let's hashtag always end with food.
Yep, 19th whole time. Let's wrap up the podcast. Always end with food on Instagram. My pumpkin stuff. pumpkin pancakes at Kirby Lane Cafe were great. That's a once in a year transition for me. It's a tradition for me. Favorite, Austin area diner. Glad I got those done. And then the pumpkin peeps, Mike. That's right. There are peeps shaped like pumpkins for Halloween in the grocery store. They have that lovely marshmallowy, plasticky factory taste that you know and love. Just colored orange in the shape of a pumpkin. So that's what I've been up to food wise.
Yeah, I don't like pumpkin, and I love marshmallows, but I don't like Peeps. It's just not. Give me those jet puffed. That's what I like.
Yeah, I agree. It does remind me whenever I have a peep that it ain't nothing like those marshmallows you throw in the s'more. That's for sure.
It's true. I want to give a diet update here as we're finishing the food.
Yeah, speaking of, on the opposite end of the scale.
We are coming into the hardest time of the year to be on a diet.
Oh my God.
Hands
Halloween candy,
down.
the month of Thanksgiving, a birthday month for you, rolling into the Hanukkah Christmas season too.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard. I have lost 10 pounds so far. Over what has this been, like a month and a half or so? I think. Yeah. So quite happy, and I'm going to share some of my tips and tricks that have worked for me.
Easy tips and tricks at home. There you go.
The first thing is to, especially because when you're at work, is to pack your lunch, which is something I've always done. Pack more food than you think you want. And especially pack something to eat in the car on the way home, like an apple.
True, because I can imagine pitfalls being if you underpack lunch, you're going vending machine, chips, candy bar, 3 p.m. Or like you said, on the way home, all of a sudden you're driving by, $1. Oh, what's that? What's on sale? How many nuggets for $2? Yeah, that's exactly when it happens right there.
So that's what it is. And then, so that helps your kind of afternoon cravings. Now, on the flip side, on the evening side, I have always, for the longest time, been a dessert guy, mostly on the ice cream front. Always. Okay. And I have found a solution to that, and that is yogurt. But particularly what the ones I'm doing is the Dannon Light and Fit Greek yogurts.
Okay.
And taking one of their more dessert flavors, which has no sugar in it and is very low in calories, like 80 calories, and then just sprinkling in some chocolate chips.
Ah, okay. So there you go. You're just you are manually you're getting the source in there. You're getting the chocolate chips in there, but just you sprinkle it in, mix it in, get the flavor, and it kind of mimics the ice cream experience.
It's not ice cream, but it gives you that sweet hit that you're looking for. And obviously it's in a controlled serving size, except for the amount of chocolate chips you throw in. That's maybe the hardest thing to control. And so that's to me like the tips and tricks that have really helped work for me. And then obviously just keep a crap ton of fruit in your refrigerator.
Yep. Can never go wrong with fruit, indeed. Love that. All right, great diet tips and tricks from Michael to wrap up Course of Life and Always End with Food. If you made it this long, be sure to subscribe to the podcast, and we'll see you next week.